Have you ever been right in the middle of a raid or about to boot up a match and suddenly Windows hits you with a mandatory critical update? Most people think Microsoft is just patching bugs or keeping your system secure. But if you look under the hood, those updates are often maintaining the infrastructure for something much more invasive. Welcome to the world of Windows Telemetry, a silent background system designed to ensure that even when you're gaming alone in your room, you are never truly off the grid. Microsoft officially calls this diagnostic data, framing it as a harmless way to identify crashes and improve your user experience. But here is the catch. The scope of what they are actually pulling from your rig is staggering. Think about what is sitting in your system memory at any given second. Discord logs, browser tabs, private background processes, and many more. It's not just basic system health, it is a highly detailed digital fingerprint of exactly how you use your machine, packaged and sent straight back to their headquarters. And the most brilliant part of their trap is that you cannot completely turn it off. Sure, the standard Windows settings menu gives you the illusion of control with a few basic privacy toggles, but to actually kill the telemetry feed, you have to dig deep into the group policy editor or modify the registry tools that 99% of regular gamers will never even touch, because your activity is simply too valuable to them. You aren't just playing games on their operating system, you're operating as an unpaid 24/7 data tester for $1 trillion empire.
My mom is kind of homeless.
In 2024, Microsoft rolled out something called Windows Recall for their new Copilot Plus PCs. The marketing pitch sounded like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, a literal photographic memory for your computer. They promised you would never lose track of a document, a website, or a conversation ever again. But the reality of how they achieved this is chilling. To build this seamlessly searchable timeline, the operating system was designed to take a high-resolution screenshot of your active display every few seconds, silently recording every single frame of your digital life. Think about the sheer volume of sensitive data that crosses your screen in a single hour of everyday use. We are talking about your bank account balances, your private Discord chats, and even passwords exposed in plain text before you hit enter. Windows Recall saw all of it, cataloged it, and stored it. And here is the part that terrified security researchers when this feature was originally announced. All of those screenshots were stored in a completely unencrypted database. Anyone with physical access to your machine or a piece of clever malware that managed to slip past your antivirus could have instantly downloaded a complete visual history of everything you had done on your PC. It was a catastrophic security risk, and worst of all, Microsoft initially planned to have this massive vulnerability enabled by default. It took a massive unified backlash from the internet, security experts, and privacy advocates to finally force the company to backpedal, making the feature strictly opt-in and scrambling to add encryption. But the fact that one of the biggest tech companies on earth thought it was acceptable to sneak what is essentially sanctioned screenshot spyware onto your rig tells you exactly what their true priorities are. Your privacy is no longer a baseline, it's just an obstacle they haven't figured out how to completely bypass yet. Let's go deeper into level 3. You already know that websites track your every click using cookies, following you around the internet to build a digital profile. But what if I told you that your entire operating system is doing the exact same thing, completely independent of your web browser? The moment you install Windows, it silently assigns your user account a unique hidden string of code called an advertising ID. This isn't for diagnostics, and it certainly isn't to make your PC run faster. Its sole unapologetic purpose is to monitor your behavior across different applications right from the desktop level. Think about what that actually means for your daily routine. This ID watches the specific games you boot up, the launchers you leave running in the background, and the software you use while you play. It catalogs whether you spend your weekends grinding RPGs or putting hours into competitive shooters, slowly building a highly accurate behavioral profile of your interests. Have you ever been chatting about a specific new mechanical keyboard or a high refresh rate monitor, and suddenly, almost like magic, you start seeing targeted ads for that exact piece of hardware the very next day? That isn't a coincidence, and it's not just your phone listening to you. It is your advertising ID doing exactly what it was engineered to do. Microsoft takes this massive trove of telemetry, packages it into a neatly categorized digital dossier, and uses it to serve you hyper-personalized ads across their entire ecosystem. Without you ever agreeing to a transaction, they have successfully turned your private late-night gaming sessions into a highly lucrative behavioral profile, leveraging your hobby to sell targeted space to the highest bidder. You think your advertising ID is a bold intrusion? To understand why your OS feels like a digital cage today, you have to look back at the moment the cage was forged. In the late 90s, Microsoft didn't just want to participate in the internet, they wanted to own the gateway to it. The landmark case of United States versus Microsoft revealed a chilling reality: your computer was never meant to be a neutral tool. By bundling Internet Explorer directly into the Windows kernel, Microsoft wasn't giving you a free feature, they were suffocating the competition's air supply. They didn't win the browser wars by building a better product. They won by making it physically impossible for you to choose anything else without breaking your system. Internal memos from the Department of Justice trial painted a picture of a boardroom acting like a cartel. They coerced PC manufacturers into restrictive silence and manipulated videotaped evidence to lie to a federal court, all to prove that the browser and the OS were one single, inseparable organism. Even when a court ordered the structural breakup of the company in 2000, a literal death penalty for the Microsoft slipped under the nose. A legal technicality and a change in political winds turned a mandatory dismantling into a mere settlement. Microsoft didn't just survive, they provided the blueprint for every walled garden you inhabit today. The APIs they were forced to share weren't a gift of transparency, they were the terms of a truce that allowed them to keep the throne. When you see those targeted ads today, remember the legal right for an operating system to force its own agenda onto your desktop was bought and paid for in 2001. You aren't just a user, you are living in the infrastructure of a monopoly that was deemed too big to break. You spent thousands of dollars optimizing your setup, fighting for every single frame, stripping out background apps just to get a clean run. But right now, Microsoft is treating your operating system like a corporate box-ticking exercise. They are inextricably shoving Copilot into every corner of the ecosystem: Windows, Edge, OneDrive, and even the Xbox app, whether it makes sense or not. They call it feature integration. PC gamers call it what it actually is: bloatware. In most cases, you just want a clean, simple OS to launch Steam or boot up GTA 5, but instead you have an inescapable AI assistant looming over your taskbar, eating up precious RAM and processing cycles in the background. Let's say a game crashes and you actually try to use this cutting-edge AI to troubleshoot. Copilot, it frequently fails at basic tasks. It struggles to accurately search your local folder structures to find your mod directories or game saves. Worse, it suffers from massive hallucinations. It drops its source citations and will confidently present totally fabricated fixes, telling you to delete vital registry keys or download patches that literally do not exist. It doesn't make your life easier, it adds to your workload. In the corporate world, employees are already panicking over Copilot's workplace surveillance anxiety over the AI, constantly transcribing and summarizing everything they say. Now bring that to your personal PC, your desktop is constantly being indexed, it raises massive privacy concerns about what is being recorded during your Discord calls or while you're sharing screens. It transforms your private gaming session into a monitored environment. Microsoft has fragmented this broken AI into a confusing maze of subscriptions. You buy a full-priced Windows license, deal with a cluttered, downgraded user interface that feels like a massive step backward, and then get hit with pop-ups asking for an additional monthly fee to unlock features that don't even work properly. Ultimately, gamers want an operating system that quietly gets out of the way so they can play. Instead, Microsoft has decided that your gaming PC is just another node to boost their AI adoption numbers. But right now, Microsoft is finally pivoting with something called Windows K2. K2 isn't a brand new OS or a Windows 12 rebrand. Instead, it's a massive internal mission to essentially declutter Windows 11 and win back the trust they've lost. Removing those annoying ads from the start menu, making sure MSN News isn't forced down our throats in the widgets board, and a huge focus on performance. In fact, Microsoft is reportedly using SteamOS as their internal benchmark for gaming, aiming to match that level of efficiency and speed. We can see this on the end of 2026 or into 2027. Drop a comment below, and if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.